28. So, dynamics of development, people as resource. All right, this chapter deals with how people or human beings can be regarded as a resource. Human resource is a term used to describe the individuals who make up the workforce of an organization, although it is also applied in labor economics, for example, business sector, or even the whole nation. It can be called the human capital or manpower. That is, we are our manpower, or the energy that we have, the capacity to do work that we have is regarded as a resource. What are resources? Anything that can be utilized to do some productive work. So our energy can also be utilized to do some productive work. So our resources are used, they are exploited so that we can attain something. All right, so that productivity can be attained. So over here, the term human resource, it applies to individuals who are making up the workforce of an organization. Means the all the employees that are present, they are indulging in some kind of work. All right, they are working for the betterment of the organization. Some are producing, some are managing, some are handling. All right, so various works have been assigned, and us humans are using up our energy to help the organization grow or produce certain things. Not just the organization, but the whole business sector depends on manpower, or we can say the complete nation depends on the manpower. All right, or it can also be termed as human capital. That is, our energy, our manpower is required for the organization or the nation to produce things and grow. All right, so this has been referred to as human resource, where the capacity or the manpower to work or the manpower of humans is regarded as a resource that needs to be utilized or that needs to be exploited so as to attain productivity. Fine. Then human resource development. Human resource management, or HRM, the management is the management of organizations' workforce to make them more productive and contented in their work. So a management has been set up that helps the organization's workforce, that is the employees, to help them do the thing in a more productive way. All right, and to help them feel contented. That is, it is their responsibility to manage that. For example, how are you going to do a certain work? If you do it in this way, it is going to help you attain more profit. All right, if you do the way you are doing it is not that efficient, it is giving you supposedly 60% efficiency. So HRM is going to teach you ways to perform that same work, but it is going to help you do it in a better way so that you attain, say, 80% efficiency, or your profits increase. All right, so you become more productive. Secondly, it helps you feel contented. That is, it will see to it that you are not working for, say, for example, too many hours. All right, your duty is restricted to the timing that is, fine with your health, fine with your salary, or they will keep a check that you get the appropriate salary for the work that you are performing. All right, so all this work is being managed by human resource management. It is a framework for the expansion of human capital within an organization. So each organization has their own HRM through the development of both the organization and the individual to achieve performance improvement. So it creates a balance between the organization as well as the employees. It takes care of the employees and it takes care of the organization, that the organization should also not suffer a loss, and the employees are also contented with the amount of work being taken by them and the payments that is being given to them. So it is a impartial management, you can say, that takes care of both the organization as well as the employee. Then we have the objective of human resources development is to foster human resourcefulness through enlightened and cohesive policies in education, training, health, and employment at all levels, from corporate to national. So, what is the objective of developing human resource? Why are we focusing so much on human resource? So, the objective is to foster human resourcefulness through enlightened and cohesive policies, means taking out such policies that are enlightened, means they have been devised in such a way that they help the resources to grow and being utilized to the fullest. Now it's a bit complicated, please try to understand, and if there's any problem you can ask. The organizations, they are helping the human to utilize their resources, utilize their manpower to the fullest, as well as keeping it taking it in such a way that you are helping the maximum without indulging in too much of hard work. That is, the amount of work that you do is being so efficiently done that the maximum can be taken out of it. All right, neither you are being compromised of your health, or being overloaded or something like that, nor you are taking the organization into a loss by being inefficient. All right, so they have taken out certain policies in various fields, the fields of education, then training, then health and employment, that at all levels, whether corporate or national, whether the corporate, if we talk about the corporate companies, not just there, but also at national level, everywhere. We have HRD department in our government also. We have human resource development, right? There's an HRD minister who handles these things. So even at the organization levels and also at the national levels, we have these HRD or HRM, which manage the benefit of the employees as well as the organization. They keep a balance between the two. Human resource development is an integrated approach that use training, organization, and career development to improve individual, group, and organizational effectiveness. Or obviously, they are helping you get trained. All right, how they are helping you? They are helping you by training you. They are helping the organization as well, how to handle their employees, and then they help in career development, how to develop your career, how to keep moving ahead while struggling. All right, when you struggle in a private sector, for example, it's going to teach you how to be updated and keep progressing. All right, how to keep your career progressing, and it helps improve individual effectiveness, that is the effectiveness that is of the employees, that is how the employees can be the effective at the maximum level, and how the organization can keep their efficiency to the maximum level. So it handles each of the people throughout, that is the individuals, the groups, and the organization, and by various things, that is by training, by helping them organize, by helping them in developing their career. All right, HRD enable individuals in organization to perform current and future jobs through planned learning activities. For example, that like in previous times, what we used to do, we used to just teach on the blackboard and using a chalk. All right, then certain instruments came up, for example your science lab and all came up. So if the teachers were taught how to demonstrate with the help of the instrument, so that the students understand better. And now we are when we are no longer have got blackboards and chalks to help you people with educating yourself, we are using this medium through video calling and all. So obviously we are also getting updated, you are also getting updated. This is just an example to explain you how HRD works. It is helping you with your present scenario, as things keep on changing, it helps you keep yourself updated, it teaches you, it makes you ready for the future, makes you ready for the new things. It helps you perform the current and future jobs through planned learning. All right, it helps you achieve a planned learning and activities. All right. While the bonuses, paid holidays, house allowance, medical benefit, etc., are good for the employees, the company benefits through increased efficiency and productivity among employees. So, you must have heard, especially those whose family members are employed in private sectors, that you get medical benefits. All right, you get house allowances. Fine. So, who manages all this? The HRD manages all this. All right. The department, HRD department, it manages all of these things. That what is at what post employee has to perform what amount of work, what is the allowance that he should get, whether he should get a place to live or not. All right, like for some post you do not get homes to live, or you do not get that much of medical benefits, but at certain posts you get even residential areas, you are given medical benefits, you're getting paid holidays for certain posts, right? So who is going to get what, that is being decided by the HRM. Similarly, for the organization, what does it do? It helps the organization increase its efficiency and takes care if the employees are contributing enough for the organization or not, whether the employees are working efficiently for the company or not, whether they are helping the organization to increase their productivity or not. It takes care of all these things. So it takes care of the employees at one level and of the organization or the company at another level. Some of ways to motivate the employees are, how HRM motivates the employees to work more and more is: introduce flexi time, offer employees corporate membership, look after those that matter to your employee, compensate your employee. All right, so it is helping them to check whether how much the time of hours that they are working, then whether they are getting a membership or not, then whether they are getting all these allowances or not. They often take care of the families of their employees, that is, they're going to cover their spouses in the medical benefits. A spouse would mean husband for a lady and wife for a man, so they take care of their spouses too often, right? Then they are going to compensate their employees. Compensate means if there is something, some bad event happens, if some bad incident happens or some accident occurs in the company, so they get compensated for that. Or if they are, sometimes they have to be removed from their jobs, so they are given some compensation, salary, etc. Means they just take care of their employees in every way, so that the employee also feels attached to the organization, to the company, and they work wholeheartedly for the company, right? Then other HRD practices may include executive supervisory management development, new employee orientation, professional skills training, technical job training, customer service training, sales and marketing training, health and safety training. So what are the practices that they include? They help you with supervisory and management development, how new employees have to be taken up, what professional skills need to be taught, how they have to be trained for customer service, that is how they have to deal with the customers, how they have to deal with sales and marketing. All kinds of trainings are being done, and they teach the companies how to organize when they have to deal with the employees, and how they have to deal with the customers, or how they have to give their servicing to the customers, how they have to give their sales talks and all that they teach to the employees. Fine. All right, moving ahead. Automation is the use of machines, control systems, and information technologies to optimize productivity in the production of goods and services. In terms of industrialization, automation is a step beyond mechanization. Mechanization provides human operators with machinery to assist them with muscular requirements of work. That is depending, you can just understand it in very simple words, that is depending on the automated machines for your physical work. That is, instead of digging the soil for making roads through using manpower, using your spades and all, instead of that you get cranes, and the cranes, they dig the soil for you, and you can construct your building or road or whatever you want to. So just a simple thing, depending on the automated machines for the physical work. This is automation. Fine. So automation, it helps, it provides human operators with machinery that to assist them with muscular requirements, that is the physical requirements of work. Automation also has impacted the world beyond industries. So not just the industries are being helped with automation, but in other sectors too. For example, the telephone operators have been replaced by telephone switchboards and answering machines. The teller machines or ATM has reduced the need of humans a lot. That is, doing away with the human requirement and replacing it with a machine. For example, earlier when you had some problem, you would call up, there would be telephone operators that would be listening to your problem and then finding a solution for it. But now, even if you want to make a complaint about network and all, the whole time you are doing what? You are dealing with the automated machine. It tells you to feed your phone number, it then tells you to say press 2 for logging a complaint for network issue, press 3 for logging a complaint against lost SIM card, etc., etc. It just keeps, the answering machine keeps giving you instructions, and you keep feeding the desired digits. So in a way you are consulting with the answering machines. All right, so there are no human operators required anymore over there. Then you have the ATM machines, where obviously again there is automated teller. It keeps telling you via the writing on the screens or through a voice, and you do not require a human cashier over there to ask you how much amount of cash you need, and then it is going to count the notes and give you. You do not require a cashier over there. So it simply means doing away with the requirement of humans and replacing it with a machine that is going to be automated. All right. Then automation has been responsible for the shift in the world economy from industrial jobs to service jobs in 20th to 21st century. So there is less and less of physical labor and more of just the service jobs, sitting and just providing service to the customers. The physical labor is being done by the automated machines. What are the advantages? Obviously, it increases productivity. Fine, because less time is required and the machine does the work more efficiently and effectively and very quickly. Then there is improved quality and accuracy. There is lesser chances of any mistakes. Then replacing human operators in tasks that involve tough physical and monotonous work. So doing the very hard labor and the same work the poor peasant is being, or poor laborer is doing, so he's freed of that. So the task, the heavy physical labor, he's saved from that. Then replacing humans in tasks done in dangerous and hazardous environment. Earlier, for example, when mining used to be done, the people had to dig the mines. They used to keep on digging and then reach to very the depths of the earth. So it was very hazardous for them. It caused them various deadly diseases, and it used to create a lot of problems regarding their health. So now it has been replaced. That thing has been replaced by the machines. The machines, they drill and dig the earth. So now they are being saved from that. So they are saved in dangerous and hazardous environment. then it can do tasks that are beyond capacities of human capacities of size, weight, speed, endurance, etc. For example, if a heavy boulder has to be lifted and moved to some other place, so even if 20 men used to join together and work hard to lift that up, they used to face a lot of problem. But now that is easily done by machines. So the things that were beyond human capability, human had to do that too, and they used to suffer a lot while doing such kind of work. So now it's easily being done by the machine, so that is another advantage. Then automation may improve economy of enterprises, society, or of humanity itself. So it's helping, obviously, when productivity has increased, accuracy has increased, so economy is also developing. Provides higher level of jobs in development, maintenance, and running of automated processes and machines. So it's not like that the humans are not getting jobs now. They get jobs too. Just now they don't have to do the physical labor. They just have to sit and operate the machines. They have to take care of the machines that they keep performing efficiently. Then there are certain disadvantages of the system too. An automated system may have a limited intelligence and therefore is more susceptible to committing an error. That is, it has got the intelligence only of what is fed in the system, right? If I have devised a calculator and I have just fed the operations of adding and subtraction and multiplication and division in that, so it, and I want to take a square root of it, of something, it won't perform that calculation, right? It won't be able to give you the result of the square root if I have not fed it from before. So similarly, it's saying that a machine is has limited intelligence. It is capable of performing the work only that has been fed in it. It cannot do any other task. If any other task comes, it might create an error. Then the research and development cost of automating a process may exceed the cost saved by the automation itself. That is, the research being done to make up such new machines, it takes up a lot of cost. All right, the cost saved by this automation process, it is less as compared to the expense that was spent, the money that was spent while taking creating that machine, while inventing that machine. High initial cost of installing the new product or plant. When you are installing a plant or you are installing a machine, it requires a high cost. The initial cost is very high. Then the skilled laborers may lose their jobs, resulting in an unemployment. Obviously, when 10 people were doing a job and now it has been replaced by a single machine, and obviously 2 to 3 people would be required to maintain the machinery, and the rest of them would be left unemployed. So obviously the automation has created and people, resulting in losing their jobs. Too much dependence on machines and artificial intelligence. The more and more automation is increasing, we are getting more and more dependent on those. All right, for example, in our own houses, we can see we have our mixer grinders, we have our washing machines. So we are all getting dependent on those, and we do lose our habit of indulging in physical work. Hence, it has been observed worldwide in 2 decades of automation that the standard of living has risen in many parts of the world. The explanation for this is that job losses in any particular economic area was offset by job gains in other areas. New jobs sprang up in the production of goods and services. So, according to them, it has helped a lot, although there are certain disadvantages, but it has helped a lot. How? By helping the people live in a better way. Raising the living standard means they help the people live in a better environment. Like, for example, we have our fans and air conditioners now. So obviously we are living a life of luxury. We do not have to indulge in too much of physical labor. And according to them, the when economy rises, it creates new jobs and people are getting jobs that are better for them. They have, they get involved in the production of goods and services, so they get new jobs too. It's not like that all of the people are getting employed. It's just not like that. When automation process takes place, new jobs are also coming up, and they can take up the new jobs. Obviously they have to learn a bit and get updated with the new system, and then they can obviously get the new jobs. All right.